custom made some gauges specifically for 790 and 890 chain adjustment. I made a 5 mil, a 3.5 mil, and a 2 mil. What these are for is this 1 millimeter ledge here where the number is printed goes all the way against the chain slider, and then 25 millimeters later, the raised edge, which is the printed number, begins. So 2 mil would be the chain at the loosest setting, 3.5 would be roughly in the middle, and 5 would be the tightest setting. All those are within 1/100th of a millimeter of where they need to be, so super nice and convenient. Some other tools you're going to need for this job, you don't need those, but you know, if you got a 3D printer and you know how to use it, why not? If you want, I'll toss those in the download, or I'll toss a link to download them in the description. Just let me know below. Otherwise, I'm not going to host it because I understand, relatively specialty thing to make. What I have here now is this a 1/2 inch plus breaker bar. I have a torque wrench. We got some 10s and 13s that are going to help with the axle nut, or not the adjusters. I also have a chain alignment tool. So all the things we're going to need for today. Once again, to verify the bike is in neutral. It is. My chain alignment tool. Because I'm using a chain alignment tool, I'm going to aim for the 3.5 millimeter, and I'm going to do all my adjustments on the drive side. The provided KTM toolkit does give you all the tools you need to do this job, apart from the rear spools and the rear paddock. The manual does designate you have to do your initial chain adjustment, or you have to do your chain adjustment with the rear tire and the paddock stand. Due to the inconvenience caused by this and the fact I'm going to be using this bike often on longer trips when I won't have a rear stand with me, I picked up a tool, the BPA chain slack adjustment tool. My methodology is here. Once I have the chain adjusted to the specs I want, I will then put the bike down on this kickstand and I will calibrate that point with this tool. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and loosen up some nuts. 13s undo the jam nuts. Normally you would check your chain slack before doing this, but I have my chain slack purposely done incorrectly currently, so there's no point in even messing with it. We will now check the current slack. Oh, actually, get you guys a better view. Hopefully the camera can focus this close, I don't know. If not, I'll take a photo. Okay, there's the chain slider. You place this device right after it, and then all we do is we go to there, and you can see it's a little too far off adjustment, so we will bring it in, which is the 10. Okay. Top of the chain is taut. Go and slide our checker back in there. All right. We will, that looks good. We're going to lock that nut in place. We are now going to rotate the wheel. The manual dictates that chains don't stretch evenly, so check it in multiple places. So we are going to do that. Place the gauge back in there. Oops. Let's see if we can't get, okay. There we go. It's touching. Top is taut. Okay. Check again. Okay, and one more time. Actually, I would argue that spot looks a bit... no, that's fine. Okay. All right, we're seemingly fairly happy with this. I'm going to throw my adjuster on now, or my chain alignment tool real quick. And everyone remember back in the day when they had snails? Snails were easy, you counted. Wouldn't it be the dumbest idea in the entire world to remove that cover? Not that we have to in this situation though. Yeah, let's go for it. For illustration purposes and ease, I'm going to remove the cover there. Again, the KTM toolkit provides. If you're an American and don't have much in the way of torque bits, it is going to be a T30. We can use the provided T-handle. I continue to be impressed at how good the KTM toolkit is. I will continue to forever make the joke, though. Maybe it's because it needs to be that good. A second. Okay. This bike only has 200 and some miles on it, so they've all been street with a 1/4 mile of dirt hard pack, though it has been wet. Chain is in good condition from a, what would you call that, like a cleanliness standpoint. Okay, we have the alignment tool on. With the camera it's going to be hard to show this, but you can see that the alignment is out towards the non-drive side. How we adjust this is, well, maybe we move the wheel. So we have the wheel now seated against both stops. If we look at it now, you'll see that it is fairly close. You may not, again, just due to how the camera goes, I'll move it a little bit here. But sitting further back, if I had to guess, I would say just a little bit more towards the drive side, and she will be meant. So, go to the drive side, adjust in, one hair. Okay, let's look again. I don't think you can be mad about that. Sometimes it helps just to move the wheel a little bit. Okay, they do have laser versions of these too. Not that that matters. Okay. All I'm doing now is loosely tightening the jam nuts, applying a little bit of pressure to the axle nut. We're not doing final torque right now. We're just doing this so we can check. Okay. Alright. Under the bike again. You can kind of see a nice little droopy smile here. Looks fairly happy to my eyes. We'll see. Alright. We're just a little out on 3.5 on the tightness side. We'll go to 5 just to make sure we're in spec. Otherwise, we'll loosen it up again. All right, we're touching at 5, which means we're somewhere between 3.5 and 5. I'm personally quite happy with that. We will tension the jam nuts on both sides. That's a 13. Okay. You don't need to go King Kong on these. Okay, again, checking that chain alignment, looks mint. Wheel torque, wheel axle nut torque, 66 foot-pounds. Do your own conversions. To be manual pedantic, it's actually 66.8 or something like that. We'll go 66. Give it the double clicked up. Once again, showing the chain alignment. We are aligned. Go through here, show the chain adjustment one more time. If we are at, we're near 3.5, we're going, oh, hold on, actually, let's spin the tire again. Alrighty. Oops. Woo. 360 camera. Nearly falling over there. It's a little gift. I'd be so sad if you got hurt, buddy. Okay. Same thing. Hold on. Almost. Go to 5. Okay. And touching. Okay. Remove the adjuster. I've got that. Where is my... There it is. When reinstalling the top chain guard, there's a little slit up front. Make sure you get it in there before you tighten those down. Fasteners back in. There was no order to these. Again, tight, but not King Kong. Okay. And okay. Okay. There's the chain with a nice happy smile. It is on the paddock stand. Utilizing the gauges I created, the chain is somewhere between 3.5 and 5. 5 mil would be, beyond 5 mil would be too tight. 3.5 would be in the middle. 2 would be too loose. You achieve chain tension by moving the reel or the wheel forward or back. You can achieve rudimentary alignment by utilizing the axle blocks and their indicators and notches, or you can use a specialty tool such as a chain alignment tool. If we go to each side, you'll see the blocks are roughly in the same space, which would be right here. You can tell the axle block on this side is sitting just a tad bit behind that indicator. The indicator sitting a tiny bit proud. It should be mirrored over here, and it's mirrored over here. If you look, actually, it appears on this side. The indicator sitting maybe just a little more proud than the other side. These axle blocks have a little bit of movement to them. It's not the worst. It's just something to be aware of, and that's why I would argue it's best just to use a chain alignment tool. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put the bike off the stand, show what the bike looks like under its full weight, and then I will show what the bike looks like under rider weight. These items out of the way. Quick look at the chain now. You can see it's still kind of floppy. That's normal. Okay, and then you will now go ahead and put rider weight on the bike. You should have your preload properly set and your sag properly set for your train tension. It's not as important. Chain tension's a little bit of a magic art. There we go. Hopefully it's a bit straighter now. That makes sense because the arm is moving through its stroke. Okay. Now, because I did my chain adjustment properly, what I'm going to do is call this job done. So, thank you for coming on along. That is how you check the chain tension on your bike, specifically a KTM 790, 890. The manual states 25 mil past that chain slider, 2 to 5 mils is your adjustment. If you're a maniac like me, you made your own gauges specifically for this job. If you would like the gauges, comment below. This BPA tool seems to work well. I'm happy I have it because it's going to enable me to do this quicker. And have a rocking day, guys and gals. Hello everyone, quick video here on KTM clutches. So, if you've ever adjusted a clutch at a lever before, you know there's a lot of, the mechanism is fairly easy. It's a barrel and a jam nut. However, every manufacturer, well, maybe not every, a decent manufacturers have different ways to measure clutch free play. One mechanism is the gap in between that spot there where the lever meets the holder, I guess, I don't know. You can measure that. I think that's how Yamaha and some Hondas do it. Don't quote me. Rewind, there's some cuts. They've all happened. Okay, so you check KTM lever play or lever free play actually at the end of the lever. You need 5 mil before you feel resistance, as the manual states. I would argue there's no resistance, there's not resistance. That gap maybe looks a little bit beyond 5 mil, so we're going to adjust this. My barrel adjuster is currently configured in the all the way in position, which means I have a decent amount of adjustment here, so I should be able to take care of all that adjustment at the handlebar. One other potential location you may have some adjustment for is down on the case side. you can feel right when you hit that resistance piece right there, you can move this barrel adjuster out some more. You can see the paint mark from the PDI. This is what they set me up with from the factory or from the pickup experience. And I'm nowhere near the end of my barrel adjuster, so I'm not going to touch it yet. So back up to the lever. So 5 mil. What does 5 mil look like visualized? Well, luckily I just happened to print a gauge for my other project. So we've got a good example. I'm going to move the camera on to a different mount real quick. We'll see if we can't use that as a reference point. I feel like we're just going to have to go a tiny bit tighter. So hold on a second here. All right, welcome back. Now the camera's on the handlebar mount. So if we go from, we'll say, there to there. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's fairly out, right? What we would expect if it were in 5 mil, we would expect to see the end of the ball now right where the gauge is. So how we adjust this, we can see it, is we loosen this jam nut, and then we pull this out, and then we check again. Oh, yep, getting a little bit tighter. A little more. Okay, just a tad more. That's feeling pretty good. So same thing, got the end of the ball lined up. Oh dude, we're right there. We'll go just a tad more. Doop. Okay, and once again, perfect. Right, 5 mil at the end. Make sure. I say so. So now we tighten that jam nut back up, hold the barrel just to prevent it from moving. Don't have to go ham. You want to be able to adjust this at some point in the future. And touch again. That feels roughly the same. Give it another. Honestly, we can go just a tad more. So just go a little bit more out. Okay. One thing you should not be using a clutch adjustment for, unless you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, is for lever position adjustment. On KTM specifically, we are fortunate in that we have an adjustment lever up here, so you can spin this in or out, and that will actually change the position. We are not going to mess with that today, since I like where mine's at, but just so you know, you actually change your lever position based on this dial here, and that covers the clutch lever adjustment piece. You'll notice that the gap in between here is significantly shorter now, and there's less free play in the lever. We still have a ton of adjustment up here, so we don't have to worry about anything else now, and there we go. That is the entire process for some fairly regular basic maintenance items that I would argue you should be able to do yourself. That includes chain adjustment, chain alignment, and clutch lever free play. There are more complex adjustments and things that we'll cover at some other point in the future. Well, thanks for coming along, and have a lovely night. You know, there's one more aspect to this whole maintenance thing I forgot to say. You saw me torque the rear tire, but what I'm actually going to do before I call the job complete is do a quick 5-minute ride at reasonable speeds with gear on, to ensure that everything stayed tightened and there's no funny noises or sounds. So I'm going to bring you along for that ride, but I got to go swap in again. Issues for a little while on my bike. Going to the doctor this weekend. getting dealing with. Oh, why, Mike, why? I just want you to love me. Alright, we've arrived. I'll give a quick visual inspection. Yep, that's a chain. The axle still appears to be tight. Just went by, so I had to wait to him. He thought he was doing something wrong when he realized who I was. Thank you, guys. When I go light stop, we go deep into the night. Take us out, go to the store, has had cancer, heart surgery. Okay, camera still on. Axle nut. We're still at 66. Sure. Yep. Got to zero it out. That's fine. I should install it like this. And all right, we have no motion. Basically mint. Perfect. Okay. Well, thanks for coming along. Hopefully you learned something today, or maybe you just enjoyed your time. With that though, I'm gonna get this bike put away for the night.